What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and this is going to be a little quicker shoe review than normal because I have finally put enough miles into the Nike PEGASUS 39 for me to give you a full review, kind of a long-term review, you know? So as of the filming of this video, I have 156 miles in the Nike PEGASUS 39, and I've done all sorts of runs. I've done several long runs. I have run at tempo effort, I have done intervals, I've done strides. I've even taken them out on the trails several times. Now mind you, not crazy trails, pretty easy Florida trails. Still, I've put the Nike PEGASUS 39 through the ringer and they've come out the other side. And perhaps you've seen some of my other videos where I talk about the Nike PEGASUS 39 and I've said that I was a little less than impressed in the beginning. In fact, I made a video where I suggested you just buy the Nike PEGASUS 38. But I've got to say that the Nike PEGASUS 39, over the last 156 miles, they've grown on me. Okay, let's briefly go over some specs. The Nike PEGASUS 39 costs $130 here in the US or £110 in the UK. It has a 10mm drop. We have 33mm in the heel, 23mm in the forefoot. It does fit true to size. And it actually fits my foot very well. These are some of the most comfortable shoes that I have. It is a neutral road running shoe. However, like I said, I have taken it on some light trails and it holds up. Nike claims that a US men's size 9 weighs in at 9.4 ounces or 266 grams. But in my size, a US men's size 13, it tips the scale at 11.2 ounces or 317 grams. Now remember, Nike has shaved off about an ounce over the 38 to the 39, so they're going in the right direction. Now no one is going to accuse this shoe of being an ultra lightweight skinny mini, but I got to give it to Nike this time for bringing the weight down a bit. Of course, because this is a daily trainer and because it's a daily trainer, it's got quite a bit of padding. The upper is quite substantial. It does tend to hold onto liquid when you sweat, when you get them wet, if you're running in the rain. And after I came back from a relatively long run, I did throw them on the scale and they had gained 10.4% of weight. And when I came back from the run, they weighed 12.3 ounces or 350 grams. Now granted, a lot of you are not going to be sweating like me. If you don't live in Florida, it might not be as hot where you live as it is where I live, but it might be. Or you might do a river crossing, or you might just be running in the rain. The first thing I want to tell you is that the Nike PEGASUS 39 gains a lot of water weight very easy, and it takes a long time to dry out. So if you get them wet on a run, they are not going to dry out before you get home. But we don't really expect that with a daily trainer, but it's good to know. Now I have run in a lot of Nike PEGASUS, and I got to say, even in the 37, so 2 iterations ago, I thought they fit my foot pretty well. The internet was very angry at the Nike PEGASUS 37 and I found it to fit pretty well. So take whatever I'm telling you with a pinch of salt, but I also found the Nike PEGASUS 39 to fit extremely well. My foot was very comfortable. There's lots of padding around this heel collar. They have a nice little cutout of the tongue this year, so it fits your extensor a little better. And Nike says that they've added a little padding to the tongue, but it's not overly padded. In fact, it looks the same as last year in my opinion, but really no complaints. No complaints with the tongue, no complaints with the heel collar. The heel counter, it's fairly rigid. Can't really press that down. Heel slip wasn't even in my mind for one of those miles. I'm actually surprised how good this shoe looks after 156 miles, although I did have to clean it before I put it on camera. But, and this is just a personal experience, this shoe smells very strongly of Febreze because my wife was starting to smelling them. She said, those shoes are dead. Now in the shoe's defense, I have sweat repeatedly in them and generally I just stuff them with newspaper and put them out in the garage to dry. I wish you could smell it. It actually doesn't smell bad, but I know that it's just masking what's inside. Anyway, pretty happy with the upper. The upper is a dual layer mesh. It's kind of like a light translucent mesh on top, and then there's something a little more opaque underneath, making it feel very sturdy. It does feel a little lighter weight than last year's PEGASUS, and the fit is contributed to because Nike has included a midfoot band that comes around here to give you a nice lockdown over that midfoot, and tied to that midfoot band is the flywire system, and that's what you can see right here where the laces loop through those little wires. And as you know, Nike brought this back from the PEGASUS 36, and it works well. Again, no complaints. The shoe fits like a glove. Okay, so let's talk about the midsole. Now Nike hasn't really made too big a changes. They're still using the React foam as they have for the last couple of years, but this year they have included an air zoom unit in the heel. Now last year they only had the air zoom unit in the forefoot. This year we have 2 units, one in the forefoot, one in the heel. I gotta say, when I first started wearing the PEGASUS 39, I wasn't too impressed. Now I can blame it on the forefoot air zoom unit, but I really don't know. When I was running easy, the shoe tended to not feel very responsive. And of course, I was blaming that on the air zoom unit in the heel because my 38s felt really good. But I do have to say that after 156 miles, I don't know if I've grown into these shoes or I've just gotten used to them, but that's exactly it. I have gotten used to these shoes and I find them extremely comfortable. And they are a very good shoe to grab really no matter what you're doing. Obviously there are going to be faster shoes out there, or there are going to be lighter shoes out there if you need to get those legs churning over. But this, I think, is the key to the Pegasus line. If you wanted a running shoe to do everything, or let's just say you wanted it to be fairly good at everything and you didn't want to buy several pairs of running shoes, the Pegasus ticks that box perfectly. And I think the biggest thing about checking that box about being the one pair of shoes that you use is how it's made. The build quality is fantastic. It feels like a shoe that's going to last a long time. Speaking of lasting a long time, let's go to the outsole. On my pair, this kind of blue-green rubber along the heel, and then the lateral edge is carbon rubber. Then we have blown rubber on the forefoot. Guys, I gotta say, rubber is looking pretty good for 156 miles. Now, I did expect it. My Nike Pegasus 38 also had phenomenal wear after like 550 miles. And the rubber on the Pegasus 39 is heading in the right direction. So let me just lean forward so you can see this. So when the shoes were brand new, there was like little nodules on each of the lugs here on the forefoot. Now, those forefoot little nodules have worn away, and they wore away pretty quickly. But aside from that, the rest of the rubber looks in extremely good shape. And when I'm running easy, which is generally what I do in a shoe like this, I tend to heel strike a little bit more than when I'm running faster. The heel rubber, this carbon rubber on the outside, just looks really good on this pair. Like, if I didn't know better, I'd say that I'm not heel striking as much as I used to. I know that's not true. I know it's just that the rubber is pretty resilient. As far as the different types of runs that you are going to do in this shoe, I would say that the Pegasus 39 is ideally suited to those easy runs, those recovery runs, maybe picking up to a tempo pace. I don't know, I wouldn't say the shoe is made for a tempo pace, but it does handle it very well. And if this were not 2022, I'd say this is the only shoe you need. You could do this from slow, easy runs to a blazing fast 5K. However, it is 2022, and we have such a plethora of shoes available to us that are finely tuned for every distance, for every workout, that it's very hard to use one shoe for everything. But if you had to, this could be it. Now, I haven't found the Pegasus 39 to be extremely responsive, but I'd say it's a little responsive. I know that's not very helpful to you guys. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is the shoe feels more responsive now than it did when I first put it on. And I think that's just me getting used to it, getting used to how it feels, putting a lot more miles in it, spending a lot more time in it. It's kind of a Stockholm syndrome, I guess. But Stockholm syndrome does have negative connotations, and I don't have too many negative things to say about the Pegasus 39. So for $130, for 110 pounds, you would not go wrong buying the Nike Pegasus 39. Okay, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have run in the Nike Pegasus 39. Let me know if you've run in any Pegasus. And if you haven't, let me know what your daily trainer of choice is. Alright guys, thanks for staying all the way to the end of the video. Of course, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. I post at least 2 new running videos a week. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.